Good afternoon.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, thanks for coming. The idea of coming here to Organic Valley, this for me is like going to the mecca of my thinking about U.S. agriculture. Would that the rest of U.S. agriculture resembled Organic Valley. This is a gift to the country, and when I think about this distinguished panel, including my good friend Ron Kind and all the battles we have been through, and we do have the scars, the notion that I would be honored as an organic hero is really incredible to me. In fact, I said to my wife, I said, honey, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think I would be honored as an organic hero? And she looked into my eyes and she said, oh, honey, you're not in my wildest dreams. But I don't want to dwell on my personal problems. I'm here to celebrate change for good, as you all are. We are very proud of what we've done at the Environmental Working Group to throw a few good punches at the issues of the day. Wherever organic has been threatened, we fought to get the original bill passed in 1990 in the House of Representatives. We were standing up with Ronnie and others to make sure that when the first round of regulations came out of USDA, that we wouldn't suddenly find organic defined as including irradiation, the use of sludge and GMOs. Go figure. But that was defeated. We caught John Stossel lying on national television when he said that he had tested organic food and conventional food and found no difference when it comes to pesticides, and it turned out they hadn't conducted any tests, and we made him apologize for that on national television, as well he might. And then my favorite, I went to an organic chicken feed purveyor up here who had a great story to tell, really terrific stuff. But there was a few years ago, someone came to the Congress and inserted what we came to call the Field-Dale loophole into a big measure, which was a chicken producer down south who wanted to be able to sell chicken as organic because of the price, the benefit he got from that. He just didn't want to have to buy organic corn to feed the chickens, and so he got a congressman, a Republican who shall be nameless, who inserted a provision into a large omnibus bill that created a loophole so that people could sell organic chicken without using organic feed, which only goes to show that no matter what you might think about influence peddling and the power of money in Washington, there are times, literally, when you can buy a vote for less than chicken feed. A few years ago, my organization did a very unusual research project, and we talk about this at length online, but I want to tell you a little bit about it now, because I want to talk about this whole challenge of scale. And you might put the question this way: why aren't there a dozen or more organic valleys out here operating in America and growing this sector? It's an important and challenging question. But one aspect of that scale issue came out in a study we did a few years ago, where we took 10 people, 10 Americans, and we drew blood from them on one day, and from that sample, which we sent to a laboratory, we analyzed it for 413 different toxic chemicals: industrial chemicals, pesticides, breakdown products, consumer ingredients. And when the results came back from the laboratory, in just those 10 people, we found 287 different toxic chemicals. Now, who were they and how were they exposed? Well, we know for a fact that they weren't exposed by virtue of what they ate, the air they breathed, the water they drank, the personal care products they brought home and used on their bodies, or their occupational exposures. And the reason we knew that was because we were testing umbilical cord blood. This was the first time anyone had ever gone to the American Red Cross Research Program, obtained samples of cord blood from babies born in the United States, and analyzed it for a wide range of industrial chemicals. And when we found that those were the results, when we found that industrial pollution begins in the womb, And when we found hundreds of chemicals for spending $10,000, and if we had spent $15,000 or $20,000, who knows how many more chemicals we would have found, we realized that in the part of our work that deals with industrial chemicals, we had a big scale problem to solve. Now, one of the chemicals that we found in those babies was DDT and the breakdown products of DDT. This was blood that was taken in 2004 from babies in the womb. Banned 30 plus years earlier, that stuff was still showing up in those babies. And that tells you another dimension of scale. When you've made a big mistake, and it's a big mistake that's going to last a long time, you ought not to waste a minute trying to fix it, trying to fix the problem. And so in agriculture, back when there was a debate about banning DDT, of course we heard from the industry that we might not be able to have food if we banned DDT. Now 60% of it was used on cotton, and we're dumb in the big city, but we ain't eating cotton yet. Still, the argument was made that it was impossible to do without DDT. And I could name some of those other chemicals we found in those babies, and I'll tell you, there was a similar story whenever we banned those, like PCBs, where it was said we wouldn't have an electricity grid if we banned that component that was used to cool electrical equipment. But we did. We banned it, we moved on. And it's like Organic Valley. They were so foolish that they didn't listen to people when they told them all of this would be impossible. They just didn't listen. And lo and behold, they were right and everybody else just about was wrong. But that does bring us back to the question of how we make more of this happen. This beautiful day, this celebration, all of you here, and all of the farmers, including the 3 that were recognized this morning that are making all this happen, those, in my book, are the organic heroes. Absolutely, absolutely they are.